Scourge Ghyran de HeyWoah. Fanatic. Fantastic. Listen up, Umis. This year, am I supposed to listen up, Umis? This here post is all about the new rules for the Gloomspite Gitz. I will not keep doing that. Something Sigmar, Lewis the Boggle-Eye will explain it all. Gaze into his eyes deeper. Dance. All right, we'll do it.
The hunters found Barek not far from a strong point. Several of the Gyranites swore when they saw him, for he had strange growths covering every inch of his skin. Black mold, red caps, and the like. They reckoned he had stumbled, then dragged himself at least 3 miles before he died. Eager to find the cause of his demise, the hunters tracked Barek's path back into the forest. It led them to a dank hollow in a rotten tree bole. Their warden Ephraim took a look inside and found it went deep, and there was a stench, as foul as anything the rangers had ever smelled. That's when they heard them. A sniggering echoed out of the hollow. It was the eyes they saw first. Little, cruel red slits in the dark. They boiled out of the hole like an infestation, clad in black rags, all hook-nosed and green-fleshed. Ephraim raised a fearful shout before they fell upon him, stabbing with their jagged blades. Creatures not much taller than a stripling, but as nasty as a starving hound. Ephraim disappeared beneath the tide before the mob parted and something swung out of the mass, snapping trees and bone. There came a flash of metal and a chain. A huge ball crushed Dag, their scout, to red ruin. The rest ran and did not look back.
All right. I like the little readings they're doing with the people that they find in the office just wandering around. And they're like, read from this book or you're fired. You need to make it high pitched that's more orky. Brother, I can't do high pitched. Know your limits, right? The Gloomspite Gitz received 2 new battle formations in this update. The Yiddish Hide. Hook noses and Yiddish Hide. Okay. The what? Enables a unit of Moon Clan Grots to contest an objective. Is this the most racist Warhammer community post we've ever read? Even if they're not all standing on it, they're just so loud and distracting. Well, the Sunbiter pack makes Git mob companions extra boy-y. This one's particularly handy if you're fielding a lot of Snarlfang Rydas in your army. The little green Gits also get the lore of Frazzle Giet. Most Grots hate the sun. Oh, same, dude. But sometimes its power can prove useful. Bright Fright makes you... Bright Fright makes your own Grots run away, which is very useful for getting them out of a scrap pain-free. On the other hand, Git Speed encourages them to get a hustle on, possibly even towards the foe. Historically, goblins have always been at least somewhat yeah, for sure. That is true. Today's warscroll offerings are for both types of fanatics, so if you love ball and chain related violence, then you're in for a treat. Loon Smash of Fanatics can now be chucked out of a unit of stabbers or shooters in virtually point-blank range, which is what they should do and should have always done and used to do. They may hit an enemy unit, whirl through a unit, or even plow through several units, inflicting more damage on all of them. Ball and chain torture? Now you're speaking my language. Spore Splatter Fanatics now cause absolute mayhem as they whirl their way forward in your move phase. Charge, well, spin. Duff up the enemy. Oh, the mayor of Duff City? Postulating the possibilities with the greatest of ease. Then hurtle right into them in the end phase, potentially tying up units that your opponent thought were nice and safe behind their battle line. Nobody runs that anymore. But if they did, that would be pretty cool. Battle tactics have changed in the upcoming General's Handbook, thank Christ. During army composition, you now pick 2 battle tactic cards, each of which has an overarching theme, such as scouting out the battlefield, destroying particular foes, or controlling specific objectivos. All right, I'm listening. Sitting up in my chair. Ooh. All right. Full attention. Battle Tactics Card 5 Scouting Force. At the start of the battle, every friendly non-hero infantry and non-hero cavalry unit wholly within friendly territory becomes a scout unit. You cannot complete these battle tactics with scout units that are in combat. Replacement units that replace scout units are also themselves scout units, okay? Afraid, raiding party. 5 VP. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if there are 3 or more friendly scout units wholly outside friendly territory. All right? Push them up. Strike. Bold Exploders. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if 3 or more objectives or terrain features that you control in any combination are being contested by any friendly scout units. Those objectives and terrain features must be within enemy territory. Okay, so you push forward, you push further forward, and then finally, Dominatrix. You complete this battle tactic at the end of your turn if a friendly scout unit that was not set up this turn is contesting a terrain feature that you control. That is wholly within enemy territory, and that is more than 6 from friendly territory. If they tell me that you can complete more than one of these on a single turn, ooh, please. Each card contains 3 battle tactics, and you have the length of the game to complete as many of them as possible. Yes. It's good. Each card contains 3, yep. The twist is that you have to complete them in order, and they get progressively... Oh, okay. So you can't complete more than one at once. No advanced gameplay allowed. All right. It's particularly well suited to fast infantry and cavalry, or to factions with plenty of movement shenanigans. Not really, if I'm honest. It could be, right? It could be. But those fast guys not dying turn 2, so you can't complete the rest of them, is the tricky part. I guess it's supposed to be the tricky part. They want it to have a tricky part. You just hope 1 isn't the obvious choice. There's just no way it's not going to be that, right? Like, the best we can possibly hope for is that there's 2. And 75% of armies do the first one, and 25% of armies do the second one. Right? But who knows? Look, I'm optimistic. Ideal for Skaven or Idnet Deepkin, maybe less so for a Maggotkin of Nurgle. Ideal for Skaven? Huh? No. IDK for sure. Skaven, I wouldn't exactly call Skaven a fast army. No offense, Skaven players. But one of these 2 armies has battle line that are what, 14 flying, 12, yeah, 14 flying base. Anyway, how many of these battle cards do we choose? We choose 2 battle tactic cards. So it's possible, if you're super good, or if you're playing against someone who is way worse than you and you're just seal clubbing them, that you could score 30 points with 2 different battle tactic cards in the same game, possibly. Unless you can't score 2 at once. We'll see. We'll see if you can score more than one of these at one time. If you can, then that's kind of cool. If you can't, then fair enough. Oh, true. They did just get the new triple redeploy thing. Arrested at Waffle House. You're not wrong. I forgot about that. That's true. And although this does tell you that you can't set up with some of them, not all of them say that. Very interesting. Look, the battle tactics system for Age of Sigmar is so bad that it almost entirely ruined the game, and I'm not exaggerating. In 3rd and 4th both. And so them trying to shake it up and do something with it is awesome to see. I can't judge it quite yet, but literally anything is better than what we've had. So good. Good work. And this doesn't this feel a little bit like a spearhead thing? It feels a little spiritually spearheadish, which is a good thing. Anyway, good shit. Damn, that's great. I haven't even read what Gloomspite Gitz have done yet, and I already really like this update so far. But I can't give it a grade because I don't know how it's going to get implemented exactly. But I'll give it an A for trying to save the game from the blight that is battle tactics. GW is trying to spear the competition. Faction rules Gloomspite Gitz. Alright, can the NPCs get something? Let's find out. Sun Boida pack. Once per turn army, any combat phase extra snappy. Pick up to 3 friendly Git mob units that charge this turn. Add 1 to the Ren characteristic of companion weapons. Great. Any combat phase. You can off-turn charge if you so manage to do that. +1 Rend works on companion weapons. I believe the wolves have better attack profiles than the riders anyway. +1 Rend's a good buff. Nice. Sunbiter pack. Good work. You love to see it. No rolling required. Just successfully get the charge. Like, play the game, right? Sometimes you won't get the charge. Well, okay. Good luck. You know, we'll get them next time, right? And then the Yiddish hide. Grots upon grots. Pick a friendly non-squig Moon Clan unit that is contesting an objective to be the target. Add 1 of the control score of the target unit for each model in that unit that is not contesting any objectives. Trash. Moving on. Pure garbage. Garbage goes in the garbage can. Moon Clan garbage can. Sunbiter's good though. Lore of the Frazzle Git. Oh, brand new lore. Let's go. Nice. White Flight. Bright Fright. Pardon me. Pick a friendly Gloomspite Gitz wizard. And then up to 3 visible Gloomspite Gitz units wholly within 12 of them. Casts on a 6. Each target can immediately use the retreat as if it was your move phase. No mortal damage is inflicted. Oh, that's good. Yo, this is good. If anyone has abilities that work on the charge, Bright Fright is great. If anyone has things that work on the charge, this ability's good. Yeah, Wholly Within 12 is pretty short for that wizard to pull up his robe and run with his sandals across the battlefield, next to your guys that get bonuses when they charge. Up to 3 is kind of rich, right? But yeah, being able to hero phase retreat for free and then get all your charges again is kind of sick if some guy's still alive. That's the kicker, though. Is anything going to be alive by the time it's your turn again in the Gloomspite Gitz army that isn't Trogs? And I don't think Trogs have charge bonuses. Maybe they do. Is retreat good? In general, retreat is rare, but when you do it, it is impactful. It's rare to retreat because usually it wouldn't matter if you do or don't. But the few times it does matter, it's impactful. I guess I'll put it that way. I don't know why retreating hurts you now because it was so uncommon, but maybe they wanted to inject a little flavor into it. Gits speed on a 6. Until the start of your next turn, add 2 to the move characteristic of friendly non-Troggoth Gloomspite Gitz units while they're wholly within 12 of this unit. But Trogs are the ones who needed it. Trogs are the one who need the +2 move. You know? Yeah, they got stubby little funny legs, but let them run. Let my men run. I know you don't want to buff the things that are good already, but it's sort of like add 2 to the move characteristic of everything except the things that you want to have 2 move characteristic. Like, okay, weird. And also, I immediately have a rules question. While they are wholly within 12 of this unit, okay? So if you're wholly within 12, and then you move, during that move, now you're no longer wholly within. Can you go the extra 2 or not? I think you can, probably, because that seems to be their intention. But it does kind of beg the question for an FAQ, right? Because this one is worded in such a way while they are, right? As long as they are. I don't think the game checks state-based effects during the movement of some ability, even though that whole thing I just said doesn't exist in this game. I bet it works. I just think people are going to ask that question. You might put one of those developer notes on it, perhaps. Trogs don't need the help. Yeah, that's probably true. But it does feel weird. Feels very gamey not to let it work. I guess they called it Git Speed to try to flavor it up as not working on Trogs. They just don't want to help the one subfaction that's already good, you know. And Gaze of Glare Face. Glare Face. You can't do that. Pick a friendly Gloomspite Gitz wizard to cast the spell, and a visible enemy within 18 of them to be the target. I don't know if I like that. Till starting next turn, target cannot use run abilities. Have the range character. I was about to say have the movement characteristic. Range characteristic of the target's ranged weapons. I don't know about this one. 18 is pretty close for caring about them not being able to run. Having the ranged characteristic, so if you're 18 away, you cast it on somebody who has an 18-inch range shot. That means they can only shoot 9. Which means they probably can't move up and shoot you if you're casting it off turn. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of finicky, right? It is kind of finicky, but it will sometimes work. It's just, man, you got a wizard that's already within shooting range, maybe. That's a concern. Yeah, kind of weird. I am overall sort of mixed on the spell lore. And it's weird that this is your unlimited spell. Your unlimited spell can pick up to 3 targets. How many targets could you possibly pick that are already in combat and not dead? Like, ooh, all 3 of my wizards are going to cast this, and 9 of my Gloomspite units that are all in combat somehow are going to retreat. Like, it's... Yeah, for the unlimited spell, I would really like to see a spell that would be very useful when it is unlimited versus not unlimited. I don't know that this comes up too much otherwise. Yeah, I suppose it really just stops the runs. They went to Walgreens. They got some pills. They stopped the runs. And then we got, what, 2 new war scrolls. And it's both of the spinny boys. Loon Smash of Fanatics. 2d6 moves still. Boo. No save, 1 health. So they just blow up. But that's fine. Ball and Chain. 3 attacks. 4s and 3s. 2d3. Pretty bad, but I guess the rend is good. 15 attacks a model. If it's got a hero guy, 16. So 8 hit and 5 wound. And then some rend, and you're rolling d3s and stuff. Okay. Lost in the Horde. Pick this unit that's not been deployed. Put it in reserve. It's lost in the Horde. Once per turn army, any charge phase, you pick this unit that's lost in the Horde and just put it there. Good. You can finally hide in any of the blobs of Stabas, which is like what they should be. You're secretly hiding in one of them, but you just get to pick the best one at the end of the day. I like it. Good. That's how it should work, because it's supposed to be funny. Set up this unit anywhere in the battlefield wholly within 3 of a friendly stabber or shooter. Then it can move right away, and it can pass through enemy models and their combat ranges, and can end it in combat. Can, don't have to. Then roll die for each enemy unit in combat with this unit, or that this unit passed across. That would be 1. Inflict an amount of mortal damage equal to the roll. Oh, the d6 roll. Oh, roll a die, not a d3. And it's not the stupid 2-up one either. It just works. The whole thing just works. D6 mortals. Let's go. Dude, I like the new Loon Smash of Fanatics. It does what it's supposed to do. They pop out of whatever the fuck your opponent ends up charging. They spin around doing a D6 mortals to whatever. Potentially throw some attacks down if you itchy nuisance. And then, like, when the opponent gets their hands on them, they blow the fuck up, as is their right. Yeah, cool. Great work. Much better than the current ones. Big W. A GW on the Loon Smash of Fanatics. And then the Spore Splatters. These dude, what do the Spore Splatters do? I might be thinking of a previous edition, but do the Spore Splatters put up that screen that blocks line of sight and maybe gives a bonus attack or something? Can't recall. Give +1 attack buff and gives -1 to enemies. Okay, and free move and deployment. So no longer block line of sight, but it's one of their ways of getting +1 attack. It's Spore Splatters. It used to be a Gobblepalooza guy, but it isn't anymore, I don't think. Maybe it is. And the Sneaky Snufflers for 3 possible attack buffs, I think. Anyway, Spore Ball and Chain. Kind of trash. 1 fewer attack, 1 fewer rend. They're just not going to do much. -1 for attack characteristic weapons used by enemy units while they're in combat with this unit, which is potentially a big downside, right? Potentially halving the number of attacks a cloud is getting in at you. And then they just die. Spinning Loons. Once per turn army, end of any turn. This unit can move 2d6. It can move through the combat ranges of enemy units and finish that move in combat. But no damage. Spore Splat of Fanatics, trash? Am I being too judgmental? They don't do anything. They reduce incoming damage in a very predictable way. Die to everything. And can't fight very well. Don't have a funny deployment. Don't have a buff to hand out. Yeah, I think they're bad. I don't think I like them. Loon Smasher, fun detected though. What are they couse? What are they couse? 110. Okay, 110 for 5. I saw 70, and these were the first ones, and I'm like, no way they put Fanatics on 70 points. I almost pogged in real life. But no, 70 is the shit ones. 110 is the funny ones. Cool. Dude, free D6 mortals, right? Now Loon Smashers don't have a strike first, so they might just die, but they're always going to do a D6 mortals automatically guaranteed for free, and I like that. And it makes your opponent have to split up attacks. It fucks up their pile in because you do this shit first. They're funny guys. And I believe you still have... Do you still have Inchy Nuisance? Do you still have the opponent strike last spell? If you still have access to the opponent strike last skill that Gits used to have, very interesting. You think Spore Splutters are fine? Imagine tie enemy Kragnos end of turn and pass proud enemy. Like tag him, you mean? I don't know, man. I see 2d6 movement and no like funny deployment business. Just like it's sitting there on the table. I feel like these... Okay, I'm too Beast Claw pilled. That's my problem, Jimbo. Because to me, Spore Splatters are like, yeah, you charge them, and then they're dead in the charge phase, and now we proceed to combat, and then you do whatever, right? But I'm too Beast Claw pilled, I think, to really respect these guys. If an army has to just march up, and you got your Spore Splatters right behind your front line of your million guys, and the opponent just has to fucking deal with it, potentially that's kind of big. And 70 points, take 2 of them for 140. This stacks, if it can. Like 3 attack a model unit going down to 1. You could maybe lean into it because they're that cheap and do some defensive mobile castle thing. I'm not going to say trash for Spore Splatter Fanatics. It's just I was reading the really fun one and then I read this one. That's all. Grots upon Grots, trash. But spell lore, I don't know how I feel about it. +2 move is wonderful for literally anyone except Trogs, obviously. I'll take +2 move all day. +2 movement characteristic should have been the unlimited one, and I'll die on that hill. This one can stop runs sometimes by off-turn casting. The ranged weapons thing probably won't matter too much, but every once in a while you'll be able to get it. I think the new lore could be pretty good. It's supposed to be used by your new chariot wizards who you want in the fray. Git mob is surprisingly evasive, yeah. What's bad about the second formation? It cares about control score, is the problem with it. So in my experience, you are either controlling an objective with your guys, or your guys are dead and you're not controlling the objective. There isn't really an in-between. Unless you're a very durable army, such as Nurgle or Fire Slayers or whatever. And so getting a control score bonus is irrelevant. Just kill them, is the long and short of it. How much did those guys capture for? Could be 50, could be 1, I don't care. If I kill them, they capture 0. And that's generally how I feel about control score in 4th edition. Again, unless you're some giga durable, you know, sit here and everyone says move and I say no, you move kind of thing. Toe tapping an objective and counting as 40 is hilarious. It is funny. But yeah, just killed him. Anyway, I was kind of concerned that the Gloomspite Gitz one would be disappointing. Because I am a student of history. But actually, Extra Snappy is great. The spells are potentially useful. I like Git Speed a lot, for instance. Loon Smash of Fanatics, fun, detected, and remembered, and allowed. It finally works exactly how it should work. I guess they're missing strikes first. It's like the last piece of the puzzle, but finally they do the funny thing that they're supposed to do. And Fanatics aren't even that bad. I was just so excited about these guys that I came down hard on Spore Splatter. I don't think you'll do this, but you could. Great work. Hell yeah. Dude, we're 4 for 4 on not bad. You'll love to see it. Yeah, fun stuff, techie stuff. I think that does fit Gloomspite too. I think the type of person that gets into Gits does actually have a little bit of a tactician brain. It's just also they're a little off, right? They have the full dozen eggs, it's just a few of them are broken. But that's fine, that's what Gloomspite Gits are for. You're supposed to... They're like the drunken boxer that suddenly sobers up, you know, and gets like a smirk on his face and Shoryuken somebody. Anyway, that's the feeling I get from Gits. Yeah, you're right, Bartford. We got the good timeline. What was my main complaint of 4th edition is the great flavor purge. They slurped all the flavor out of every war scroll and army. And so what could they possibly do to fix it? Well, in the next GHB, we'll put half of it back in. Good. Yeah. Yeah, do that. Great. Hey, all right. Sounds good to me. And then when 5th edition rolls around, put the rest of it back in. Let's fucking go. How good will 5th edition be? Anyway, the shit's sick. Good work. Yeah, I'm something of a tactician myself, but he's got like a giant yellow moon banana hat on. Destruction Army is getting tech. Insane. Yeah. Yeah, you love to see it. Damn. What are they going to do with Cruel Boys? What are they going to do with Ogres? What are they going to do with Cruel Boys? So many armies ahead of us. I'm interested in hearing about basically all of them, except Seraphon. I don't give a fuck about Seraphon. Or Lumineth. No offense. But I will read about it, and I hope it's fun anyway. No tomorrow, right? I don't know. Historically speaking, according to chat and my memory, they don't do news posts that matter Saturday and Sunday. But if they do, I will be live. There it is. Can't wait to be disappointed with the Cruel Boys upgrade after seeing all these good stuff. We'll see. What did they do wrong? It's simply a meme. Don't look too much into it. Iron Jaws get smashing and bashing back. Ogres get hungry and eating back. Cruel Boys just revert the most recent changes and go back to the fixed index plus one extra bell or whistle of choice. Anyway, a man can dream. They need like 3 or 4 days for Cruel Boys, yeah. No shot ogres don't get mount traits. Yeah, we saw mount traits with Flesh Eater Quartz. And so we're definitely getting mount traits in ogres, right? Whatever else happens, but I feel like mount traits are the shoe-in. I'm going to give you 2 index cards to fuck off. Anyway, awesome. You'll love to see it. I'm so happy to be reading good news over and over. Man, it's been a while. Ogres will get a Noblar-themed faction. You shut your mouth. Don't give them any ideas. Can you imagine if Ogres got a Noblar-themed faction? That would be me. Look, there's already a Noblar-themed faction. It's called Gloomspite Gitz. Get them out. Get them out. Anyway, I just heard that knock on my door. I got shit to do tonight. Apologies, chat. But I might see you over the weekend. We'll see. If they do news, they probably won't. In which case, Monday... Wait, Whomst? Whomst is next? What did they say? It sounds like the wailing of tortured souls. Probably just the wind, right? Night Haunt. Well, they seem to be in the business of not trying to help the faction's doing, or the parts of a faction doing great already, right? So, for the Night Haunt one, we're probably going to see some things no one ever puts on the table for any reason, and just, we got to do something to get somebody to want to play these. Although actually, hey, good point. The Wailing of Tortured Souls, that might not be Night Haunt. You know? Could be Beastmen.